Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. It's only been 5 days since complete chaos erupted in the world of crypto. People panicking, dogs and cats becoming friends. None of the world made sense, yet here we are, less than a week later, and sentiment, although many are still in fear, as I'll show you in a second here, sentiment is already beginning to shift, and even setting sentiment aside, because a lot of time the masses don't know what the hell makes sense anyway, setting that aside, it seems clear to many analysts that what's most likely is that most recent bottom when people were panicking as XRP and Bitcoin and everything in the asset class plummeted rather precipitously. That actually was the low, and there's actually evidence that we're going to, in all likelihood, continue a massive move to the upside. And don't forget, I'm not going to talk about it much in this video, but if you're looking at even the stock market, we've seen some good moves towards the end of the week, actually, including with the Russell 2000, which is important if you're interested in expansion because you've never had an alt season without expansion occurring. And as far as XRP, well, I think you'll like what I have in store for you here. I've got perspective and commentary from 6 different XRP chart analysts, and suffice it to say, there continues to be, yes, even more evidence that XRP is going, indeed, this market cycle to melt faces and rip to the upside. But before going further, I do want to be clear, I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. So I record this video, it's 8:29 p.m. Central Time, Saturday, August 10th, 2024. XRP at 59 cents, Bitcoin at 61,182 bucks. And I know XRP technically down slightly. Just the other day, it was back above, what did it get to? 62.5 cents, something like that. The fact that it's here, that in and of itself, not something to particularly be worried about if the analysts that I follow correct. In fact, really all that's happening now, and I'll just say this at the outset before getting into more XRP specific content towards the later part of the video, it's a range, folks. It really is. The fact that it's doing what it's doing is not in and of itself some sort of indicator of goodness or badness. It's just the market doing what it does, and it seems to torture the typical lemming retail speculator. So again, XRP 59 cents, and like I said, Bitcoin $61,188 rather. And Crypto Fear and Greed Index 39 out of 100. So the market's definitely in fear, but we were just in extreme fear earlier in the week. And it's the end of the world, right? Remember that? Just 5 days ago, it was the end of the world again. But here we have evidence that the market's recovering, moving to the upside, and so slowly people are starting to feel a little bit better here. I also want to highlight this real quickly here. Here's a headline from the Daily Huddle. U.S. Treasury begins $50 billion liquidity injection as trillion-dollar bond market witnesses weak demand. And so look, I've been saying for a long time, this theory that the Bitcoin halving is what causes the market to have these 4-year cycles is complete and utter nonsense. It just happens to be the case. And I don't know if Satoshi intentionally planned this or not. And if so, that's pretty clever. But it lines up more precisely with liquidity cycles and the government injecting funds into the economy. People then take such dollars and invest it into stuff, including stocks and cryptocurrencies. And so here you have the Treasury buying back bonds. Check this out. The Treasury Department is beginning to buy tens of billions of dollars in U.S. bonds in a push to bolster the market. In a series of announcements, the department details its $50 billion buyback operation, which started on August 7th and will last until October 31st. That's right, folks. Right now, in the short term here, money being injected into the market. This is a fact. This is a thing that is happening right now. This isn't a secret. It's just that most people aren't aware of this. And I'm not saying this in and of itself is the end-all be-all, especially if you consider the total scope of markets broadly speaking. But it's a thing that matters. Liquidity matters. The more liquidity gets pumped into a system, the more you see people utilize that liquidity. That's just the case here. And it is not the case that the government in this particular instance is printing more money. That's actually not what this is. As cited in the article here, the only way this is happening is they're raising bonds, money from selling new bonds or using cash reserves. But either way, that's an increase in liquidity, which is good if you're an investor. If people now have more money to throw at it. So again, not the end all be all, but one more thing, and this is on top of recent evidence that has been highlighted by all sorts of individuals, and I shared on my channel. There's all sorts of professional analysts, again, the world of traditional finance, arguing, hey, you should expect increased liquidity for multiple reasons, including this year, towards the later part of this year. I'm just citing this as one more thing. Here's a post from Chart Analyst Mustache, hashtag Altcoins. And so he shared this post from August 5th, and this was interesting. He says, the last time some of my macro charts looked invalidated, we saw a strong recovery within a very short time. And he notes that the last couple times we saw this happen would be FTX and the COVID crash. And this is August 5th. This is the day of the crash. And he said it looked like his chart's invalidated. What's this chart? It's a dominance percentage chart for the entire crypto asset class except for the top 10 coins by market cap. So he say, well, it's below the line. It's invalidated, but is it really forever validated here? And what he's saying is the last couple times that this chart was invalidated, if you just gave it a short amount of time, the answer is no, it actually wasn't invalidated. And so he reposted that just this morning, and he said some good news. Had told you a few days ago that the last time many of my macro charts looked invalidated, we saw a strong recovery in a short time frame, and it happened. Most of my macro charts are valid again, so the crash was a deviation. And he's not the only one that's reporting that really things ain't looking so bad right now. Here's Dom at Tradriew 2. This is a total 3 update, so crypto total market cap excluding Bitcoin and ETH. And he says, 3-day candle closed back inside the descending channel. This effectively confirms last week's move a fake out, unless it breaks down again. It does resemble a bottoming formation, invalidated if we lose the formation again. So take it for what it's worth here. And also, I want to share perspective from an analyst who I'm new to. His name's Seth Gold. He's got quite a following, over 41,000 followers, hedge fund consultant, among other things. And he shared the chart that's on your screen here. S&P 500, it's August through the end of October. Low occurrence by month, that's what he titled the chart. And so it's showing activity specifically for the entirety of August, September, and October from a historical perspective. And so if you look at this, and you can see he's color-coded which are election years, so that would be the orange. You've got action since 1990 in the blue, and then all years in gray here. And so here's what he found. Like, because when's action actually happening here? And it is different in election years. There's data to show that. That's what's on your screen here. And since we're in an election year here in the United States, that's why I wanted to highlight this. And he says, did the market already bottom in August? Lots of data suggests, although not the technicals just yet. Technicals are lagging discipline. Most markets, the market troughs occur in August, especially during election years. And then he said that was shared via Fundstrat. And so that'd be Tom Lee. And I highlight stuff from him from time to time. He's really well known in the world of finance. He also talks a bit about crypto here. He's been a bull in recent years when others said, no, it didn't make sense. And he's certainly been proven right, including in 2022 when people were screaming, it's the end of the world. Nope, we're further bear. And things started to turn around at that moment in time. It's like, guys, nope, but here's the reason why. And he was certainly right there most recently. And so highlighting here with this chart, it's historical perspective. But I'll just say, like, as far as and so again, if that's the trough, that you're saying that would be the low point. Now, if that's indeed the case, and maybe this was it, great. And if not, either way, there's additional data I've been highlighting to show that, a lot of times markets, by the time elections are actually over, even if there's a scare, depending on who gets elected, it's typically short-lived, because what markets hate even more is uncertainty. So whoever wins, at least once the market knows, they can start to kind of price that in. If they don't know, and there's not a lot of certainty, especially if it's a tight election, you can't really do that. So that's why, even whether it's good news or bad news, and whatever you subjectively think or whatever the market ultimately thinks, it can recover and price accordingly once that happens. So there's a reason that many people argue in election years, if you really want to see when things are taking off, it'll probably be after that first week in November, right? Here is a post from Dom at Tradriew 2 talking about XRP. And this is part of what I was referencing at the outside of the video. He simply said, XRP just consolidating. Anything in between 64 cents and 56 cents is simply noise. And so he's talking about obviously on a very short time frame there, and I say fair enough. Now, if you're someone like me who is like the master of hodling, like I'm just more patient than any other human in existence, then like I apply in general this understanding, which he's talking about in a short frame here. I apply it on a very long time frame. And that's why after XRP hit its all-time high in the beginning of 2018, 6.5 years ago, my bet was that at some unknown point in the future, XRP would hit a new all-time high yet again. And so I'd spent years dollar cost averaging. And so to me, everything that's happened the last 6.5 years in terms of the price action, although interesting to me, and so I like to track it, it's fun to track it, it's just noise in the end. It really just is. Either we're right and there's a new all-time high, or we're wrong. And there's so much evidence to the positive that we are seeing XRP historically moves in tandem with the rest of the market. And if you care about utility, well, it's got that in spades. And it's got legal clarity. Just, you name it, folks. Everything has been coming up roses for XRP here. So to think that it's not going to perform ever again is silly, and to think it won't perform this market cycle if there is an alt season, I find that rather hard to believe given how long it's consolidated and everything great around it. We have a big-ass, incredible XRP community on top of that, and like it or not, and I think it's cool, but community actually matters in terms of viability of coins. Imagine if there's no community around Bitcoin in the beginning. What would that even be? Who's adopting it then, right? And nobody talks. So community does matter, and we have one of the biggest in all of crypto, and I'd argue the best, that's for sure. So everything in the short term here, again, he's saying this is a range, basically. Anything outside of that, it doesn't matter. Here's another post. This is from chart analyst Dr. Magic. XRP USD chart, reaccumulation range for 14 months almost over for XRP. Sentiment is bad. This app is a ghost town after this week's price action in markets. When markets turn up again, watch out for XRP. Yeah, so he's certainly right about that. I mean, when markets are hot, that's when more people pay attention. And that's fine. I guess you call them like the Wayfair fans, whatever. Okay, I don't care. I mean, it's the same concept as like if you're not really into sports, you know, if your local team is in the playoffs, or maybe you know, maybe your team, you got a football team where you live, and they're going to the Super Bowl. Well, it gets more interesting if they're from your geographic region. Like, that's just how it is. It's the same concept with crypto. When it starts to get hot, the people that are kind of mildly interested, they come back. And if that's any of you out there, well, you're here a little bit early because fewer people are paying attention. I know that. Just over the last week. I mean, they paid attention for the crash. But it is kind of interesting to see that. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's an observance, not even a critique. Some people are like offended by that. Or in sports, I've encountered people like that too. Yeah, they're not the real fans. They're not paying attention to this in the Super Bowl. I'm like, yeah, I'm really not much of a fan, but this is neat. I'm like, yeah, that's true. So same here. If people aren't interested in following crypto on a daily basis, just because I am, and probably most of you listening are, it's okay for people to just become interested at the most exciting moments. That's fine. And then the rest of us are just here all the damn time. But anyway, the reason I even mention all of that is because I can see it in my YouTube numbers, to be honest with you. Like during the times when the market's hot, it's like, it rockets onto the upside. And I have fun either way. So like to me, it doesn't matter. Like it doesn't change what I'm doing. It's just an observance. So I can tell when there's something happening in the market, even just by looking at that particular metric. But yeah, so all that to say, people will increasingly come back as the market gets hotter and hotter and hotter, and then you see that euphoria, and it's cyclical. It's going to happen again and again and again. That I think you can count on. Here's a post from chart analyst Tony Savino, XRP USD chart, and he's talking about here a metric called parabolic SAR, which stands for stop and reverse. And it is used by traders to determine a direction in terms of trend and, potential opportunity for, reversal in terms of price action. And so what he wrote here is XRP deja vu per the monthly parabolic SAR if we get an explosive move now. And so you can see what he's comparing it to. This is where we are now. And here we are in 2017. He's saying it's one more metric that it's looking pretty similar. So if you see follow through sooner than later, good to go. And he posted this on August 7th. But just understand when he says now, I mean, typically, I don't want to put words in his mouth, but I'll just note that typically when analysts say something like that, they don't literally mean it has to be this second or necessarily this day or this week, so on and so forth. They just mean it's got to happen sooner or later, or else, the idea would be invalidated here. But this is one of many metrics we keep seeing where all sorts of chart analysts keep looking back to 2017, being like, guys, it's happening again. It looks the same. It should pick a metric. Pick a metric. XRP dominance, XRP priced against Bitcoin, relative strength index, this Bollinger Bands. Pick a metric. It looks the same as 2017. Isn't that exciting? Like, to me, it's exciting. It doesn't mean we know for sure what's going to happen, but I have a suspicion. Like, do you have a suspicion? Here's a post from Chart Analyst Crypto Insight UK. Has XRP started wave 3? We will know more if we see a clear break and hold above 64 cents. I haven't yet ruled out something like this. And so I'll describe this for those of you not looking at the screen. He's saying, so here's where we are now, where I'm circling. Wave 3, move up to roughly here, so maybe around $1.10, something like that. Pull back, even if it's to 70, 75 cents, it's just going to scare the hell out of people. XRP is crashing again. You just expect that if this happens. But then a further move and continuation to the upside above $1.30 is what he's indicating on the screen right here. And of course, he thinks it goes much higher than that. He's just saying this would kind of be more so in the short term. And I mean, if you look at the timeline here, that would be this month. And it's plausible. Like, I'm not a huge fan of analysts, predicting time, and he did just kind of do some squiggles, so he, maybe he's not necessarily trying to indicate this is exactly what the timeline would be. He's trying to share an idea, so that may be exactly what his intent is here rather than time. But even though I get nervous when analysts do try and predict time, there are a lot, and I think it's more fair in a time like this than ever, just think that XRP is actually going to go sooner than later because we are in a bull market, and because historically markets do go around these types of these times and in these types of environments. And he also said eyes on XRP BTC plus ETH, but also XRP dominance to give us some early signals. And so certainly XRP dominance has been increasing. It got down to what did it get down to? 1.05%. And then it's been moving precipitously to the upside. Let's keep watching it, but it looks pretty damn good. It looks like what you would want. And then here at Chart Analyst Dark Defender, XRP run is so close. As always, please remember that this is not financial advice, but my opinion. And so he's standing firm on his expectation that in the short term here, XRP goes to $1.88. Doesn't mean goes perfectly up in a straight line, but this is the general idea that he's been sharing. Anything that's happened in the short term hasn't caused him to waver whatsoever. So he also believes that would be sooner than later. And that's possible. Even if we're going to see most of the fireworks, if we are, after the election, if that's an actual factor that's going to be largely at play here, it doesn't mean you can't see moves prior to that. XRP historically has had at least 2 major moves the last couple cycles. So I won't be surprised if that's indeed the case again now. And here, Dark Defender said, and I actually shared this the other day, but XRP will claim the throne. Yes, now I certainly agree with that. The figurative throne, right? It's just a matter of time. XRP, this is XRP priced against Bitcoin. That's what this chart is here. It's looking good. It is. We had the bottom on June 7th, and it's looking pretty damn good. And here was chart analyst Bobby A, and he simply said, give it a few months, you'll see #XRP. And I like that rhymes. Rhyming is fun. It's good timing. But see, I think if you do let enough time pass, we'll be proven correct whatever the timeline ends up being. And I'll not be surprised if we see some more major fireworks and additional expansion in the stock market this calendar year. And we're already through most of the year. And this year's been a lot of fun. 2022 kind of sucked. As far as the market anyway. I have fun in bear markets regardless. I'm just not emotionally impacted by the negative. But it is more fun in the bull markets. I'll certainly give you that. It's more exciting. But 2023 was better, and then 2024 been better still to this point. And I'm expecting that by the time this year's over, we're going to be very, very happy. But we just got to wait a little bit longer. We don't control. Either we have exposure when the market goes or we don't, but I'm excited for this. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.